Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to episode 91 of Kenshi. So, over the last few episodes, I have been requesting for everyone to submit their own ideas for naming this base. If you would like to vote for the name of this base, I'll leave the poll up for a few days. Go to Rhadamant.com or the announcement section of Discord and go vote. Vote on the name. Alright, what I want to do is to do a teeny little bit of decoration, and then lay out the base some more, and I might further decorate the base sometime in the future. So the way to do this is Shift F12, and I'm going to go to Buildings. And this gives you access to buildings that you otherwise wouldn't know how to make. Like, obviously, you can't just make an Ashland dome, but this, gives you those sort of buildings. So I'm going to go to Buildings, Exterior, and Pontoon Bridge. So one of the things I was wondering about is, well, I really want to make my own bridges. It's kind of weird that you can lay out this illustrious city, but not bridges for it. So that's the first thing I'm going to add is pontoon bridges entering. So the way I like to do this is to lay out the bridges and then drop them down, and then I'll sort of move and adjust them into position so they look organic. And I put two bridges here, not because I, of course, need two bridges, but just to make them look more organic. I'll need two to do it. Oh, look at that. Not perfect, but pretty decent. And these sort of types of items you are not able to make in the game by default. I don't think it's very game-changing, however, which is why I'm adding them in. A little bit of swimming wouldn't kill me, but if I can avoid it, I will. The next thing I'm going to do is add a sign to my bar. This here is going to be my bar, so we'll add the bar sign, and by default it comes all crooked. So let's go change this. Changing the orientation. And then sort of embedding it into the building and lowering it so it doesn't block the lights. And that isn't quite centered yet. Yeah, that looks good enough. It does block the fake windows though, but whatever. And I'm only doing this to demonstrate how to decorate. I'm not going to do all of my decoration on camera because, well, I am a little bit of a perfectionist and I don't want to bore the ever-living hell out of you. Then, just for some flavor, what I'll do is add, maybe not where I do the mining. So this, I'm going to think of city planning. This river here, let's pretend it doesn't continue this way. We'll just call ruined because we're mining ore in it. So I'm going to put some lovely fishing nets over here. And I'll sort of decorate this to be looking like we do some fishing. Just for some flavor. Just to possibly, stoke your imaginations. I don't really like the fish bed. If there's anything you place that you don't like, just click it, hit the delete key. It goes bye-bye pretty quick. And all these things are not made by default, by like sort of vanilla Kenshi. So if you want them, you do have to go into your nav mesh and all that. Let's see. I was going to do one other thing here. Little swamp wharf. Come on, it's not agreeing with me at the moment. Yeah, I'll just place it like this and then correct it. That's probably easier. So what's fishing without a little dock, right? All right. That looks a little organic, I'd say. And then we'll even put this fishing pole out up on the dock. Right towards the end, maybe. There we go. And that way, we can add a little flavor to what otherwise would be a very vacant city. And all these sort of flavor things I can do, I can add some more off camera as this city develops. So for instance, if I wanted to, there is a whole lot of different signage that you can make. So I could do signing cloth, right? Because this is going to be my cloth vending. And as I further design my city, I can add things like this sort of flavor signage in order to signify what different buildings are. Of course, I'm having a real hard time selecting just the sign. Ah, there we go. Oops. I just created a sign and then put it somewhere deep into the nether because I was editing it not locally but globally. That's my bad. Let me do that one more time. Unfortunately, as a result, that does create... Oh, I don't like that sign. I like these traditional signs, the ones that you'll find in towns. And they don't need to be perfect. God knows Kenshi's rustic enough that perfection isn't even worth attempting to obtain, but something like that. And now, very, very clearly, as you can see, this is quite obviously a clothing store. And I can tweak things. Yeah, it's very crooked. I can tweak things later, and especially off camera, so that it doesn't bore you all. But I'll fix this one now. So this should have, yeah, something like that orientation. And it points upwards, but whatever. And as things progress, that's what I can do to add flavor to this town. I want this town to feel like a native town and not just something I slapped together. So I hope these pontoon bridges actually function. I hadn't actually checked that, but I suppose I'll see. So Rhadamant here, as we did at the end of the last episode, is setting up this little clothing shop to seem somewhat more lively and functional, which I think counts for something. Now I did use all of my fabric. So what I'm going to do is have Rhadamant run, or not fabric, but cotton for fabric. I'm going to have Rhadamant run to the nearest farm and see if they don't try to kill me. And if they don't try to kill me, I will then buy whatever cotton they are willing to sell me. It might be a little annoying to try to obtain cotton in bulk enough to start farming it myself. What is going on with their farms? This doesn't seem right. Like, at all. I think they're hitting the grog a little too hard. Alright, call me an intruder, but then sell to me. I don't see that anyone's home. Hello? Do you have cotton locked up? Why would they? Oh, this is a ghost town. They hit the grog and left? Oh, no, they're here. They kind of look like... Oh, this is caravan guards. Alright. I was like, yeah, they kind of look like guards or something. And that's exactly right. Oh, they killed a Shek. And, of course, I don't have a med kit. Interesting. Ruka, do you have a med kit? You do. I guess these caravan guards don't care much for my my Shek allies. Unfortunately for them, this whole valley is owned by the Shek, so they can shove it. Alright. I was hoping to control them enough, talking to them, for them to not re-engage, because they're going to get themselves knocked out, and that's exactly what happened. Alright, Mr. Shek. I can appreciate the fact that they never retreat, never surrender. What happened here? All of the bulls, everything seemed to have died. And no one's home. And I didn't do this, mind you. Oh, one bull got back up. Yeah, all of these holy farms are like ghost towns. Maybe it's part of the town override because of the fact that we overthrew the paladins. Maybe something is happening as a result, like bandit raids. I'm not exactly sure, but wherever the case may be, it is strange. Let's see about this last holy farm. It's weird to think that I want my holy neighbors to be alive, right? Well, this one has living bulls. Yeah. I know I'm here. Okay, you're not gonna trade to me. Will you? No. Will you? No. I did get one of them to trade to me earlier. I love how they're screaming for Holy Lord Phoenix. It's like, dude, he's so beyond dead. Why are you... Oh, I guess I am sort of a skeleton, aren't I? I kind of forgot that I had installed robotics. Alright, well that's clearly not going to work. Maybe the way station has some. Checking back at my home tile, we still have a variety of things to clean up. And checking in on Plan and Pingu, both should be heading to... Or Beep and Silvershade, as to say, heading to Phoenix's Fall. So we'll get that on the way. And by, I don't know, a few days' time, Phoenix's Fall might have a whole new name. Which is, I think, at least a little exciting. A fresh start. So we're working on battery banks and... I don't know, the city as a whole. As you can see, we are adding a bunch of wind power. I love how there's plenty of pontoon bridges around, and we're using none of them. Why am I screaming Akronite dogs? I really don't think there's any paladins around. They're acting as if they're in combat, but that is very, very much not the case. And now everyone is idle? I don't get it. Oh. Not enough building materials. What are we? Lacking electrical components. Okay. So we have decided that this is our armor district. I do need to pick out farming. So, if we are to be farming, when we go to food, we're only really going to be able to grow green crops. So, cactus being non-green won't grow. Hemp won't grow. Oh no, hemp will grow. Hemp, cotton, but rice won't because that's swamp crop. Vegetables will. Wheat will. All right. That is good to note. There should still be plenty of stuff to construct. Yeah, they're complaining they don't have any building materials, but that is definitely not the case. These guys are just, there we go. Now they're moving again. Alright, come on, Hammett. Get with the program, my friend. Alright, Penguin, Silvershade, still moving. Beep and Plan have a little bit of a head start. Still plenty of stuff left to haul and move. Some of this stuff not likely to be moved. It's leather and spring steel and stuff like that. I'm just aiming for all the iron plates. Pretty soon, I'm gonna dismantle the entire this entire station house. All right, I just ordered them to haul to building materials because we're about to get a lot of them as we dismantle walls and stools and furniture and the like. Building materials will skyrocket. All right, still a lot of iron plates left on the roof. And the bridges, I wouldn't say that that one was used. Well, I can always try to figure out that later. Why it doesn't have physics. I might need to save and load or re. Yeah, let's try reloading the mesh data. See if that does anything for us. I can see the cursor. No, maybe I need to add it to mesh data. I can always Google this issue in the future. Now, Silvershade is very clearly avoiding the pontoon. Yeah. All right, they're not working, but I'll see what I can do to get them working for next episode. I'm not going to troubleshoot it here and now. All right, dumping a lot of stuff into general storage, as we don't have specific boxes for most of this stuff. And I'm not going to add the temporary storage specific boxes. I'm going to wait until I have a more permanent spot and solution. Alright, there is Beeps. And Pingu's going to be a lot easier to empty out, as it's mostly just building materials. Alright, done and done. Oh, this is a hybrid stone mine. We weren't supposed to build that one. Alright, let's keep that paused. So everyone else is waiting, and my assumption is it's due to a lack of electrical components, which seems to be the case, because everything else that is queued up is non-electricals. So let's go at this point to decide where our barracks is. So if this is the barracks, or let's call this the mess hall, because that will allow us to put food down. So if that's the mess hall, we might want some outhouses near it, right? All right, yes. And then we're going to want a building, barracks, mess hall. So this will have all the cooking stuff inside of it. Then we're going to want a farming shack, maybe. What I'll do is I'll set this up to be some sort of the mess hall. So interior, let's do some bar tables with stools. All right. Then I suppose on the other side I'll have it be dedicated to the cooking. So we'll put a bread oven in there and cooking stoves. For one for each recipe. We'll have the automatic grain silos. What I might do is I might have them just sort of, well, ideally it would be right here, but that's where our toilets are. So I'll put them here. And just ignore the fact that they're really close. And we'll just lay that out for now. And of course, the kitchen itself is going to require lights as well. Let me get back inside so I can cue that up. Okay. Alcohol is going to be processed in a different room. So I'm not going to worry about that. Do these way stations... I'm not entirely certain the way stations were going to have crops, like, or enough for me to grow anything. Yeah, they have a little. It's not much, but it'll have to do. I'll also buy whatever cacti I am able to store. It will be probably multiple trips in order to... Wow. Rhadamant got there quick. In order to try to get the farms up and running. Now, if Chung is idle, that almost certainly means that I have all the electrical components that I wanted queued up. Yep, that is true. All right. That means that green and silver shade are definitely going to get as many electrical components as they can fit. And unsurprisingly, iron plates are full. I'll just empty them out rather than make more storage. We already have so much storage for that. Alright, they're here. So, Pingu, you are gonna help empty these out. Thank you. And Plan, have you grab some electrical components. That's really currently the bottleneck over at the main base. So 75 electrical components will go a long way. And then grab some additional plating and maybe some building materials that we can fit. Alright, I'm not going to bother Jengaing any more in there. It's enough. At the very least, it's enough to probably get the remaining of the iron plates hauled properly. And it sounds like the future base is seeing a lot of construction. Oh yes. And attractive at that. I like it. I think it looks good. What do you guys think? Got some ovens and some Shek following me around. I did ask for that. I can't really complain. That is entirely my own fault, but... Alright. Brewery, right? So buildings. Let's do a step house. I don't believe we've used a step house yet. So this step house here is going to be my brewery. Right next to the fishery? Maybe that's weird. Put it right there. Alright. Which means we'll get that built first. Plenty of building materials. Then I need another building, possibly a smaller one. I know I already have had one storehouse. Longhouse is probably not the right dimensions for this, though. It's going to be for the science. I'll just put it in a little... we have a bunch of bug houses. I'll put it in a longhouse. This is my science facility. Given its infrequent use, I'm going to put this off to the side. Yes, it won't have a bridge, but it won't be used very frequently. So, I'm not that worried about it. Alright, I'm going to pause one of these cotton farms so that we can construct just the one. And then, of course, if we want cactus, for instance, I'm going to have to do it hydroponically. Huh. Is there no... One moment. Tech, research, farming... I guess there is no hydroponic cactus. Sorry, no cactus. Alright, so that step house is built. this was going to be the brewery. So inside, we're going to include a grog machine. Real complicated. I like how it's just like a bunch of barrels. Rum still. A sake still. And a hemp processor. We'll put all of our wonderful drug production in here. And then light it. And then I'll probably put some flavor stuff in there as well. Pingu and Silvershade have arrived. So in the interest of being efficient, we'll have them emptied out pronto. If you're wondering why I'm not pathing directly straight there, it's because I found that going straight there, they often go into the fog islands and kind of get stuck, which makes it slower in the long run. And we're done. Another thing I'm going to need to add here is under mining, I will need a iron refinery, or a few of them. I'm curious if I put it here, will they use it on the edge? Well, maybe I ought not to figure that out immediately. I'll sort of have it be drill adjacent. And then additionally, a steel refinery. Come on, let me put it right there. All right, perfect. And that will use up an unbelievable amount of our iron plates. Getting our wind up. So this means Chung is almost certainly, cranking away on electrical components. That's good. We're going to need a lot of them, as I mentioned. So these iron plates should be whittling down now. Yeah, most certainly getting whittled. And then the last big rush will be for building materials as I dismantle the remaining walls. But I can definitely see progress. That's for sure. It's palpable how close we are to shutting down the old base. But we do need to make the new base usable, which is important. So sake is going to be rice and water. Rum is cactus and water. Rum might not be all that possible for us to make. Grog is wheat straw and water. And then we'll get the hemp, which is obviously hemp and water. Meaning, given that I just said water so many times, we will absolutely need some wells. So I'm going to put 2 wells immediate adjacent to the drug processing. And then for food, or for farming, I'll drop some wheat XL right outside. Like that. 2 big wheat farms. Does rice grow here too? Fertility, crop yield 0. Okay, so rice doesn't grow here. So what I could do is I could do hydroponic rice. And then hemp will grow here as well. So let's get the hemp farms going. And I'll probably just put 1 hemp farm. We don't want hashish as much as we want grog and sake. So now we'll have need of 120 wheat being pulled over here. And that also doesn't account for food processing, right? So we're going to have our regular farms out here as well. That's probably more wheat than I'll need for grog, but whatever. Now, as you can see, the icon of Rhadenhal is diminishing in size as the city is becoming smaller. And hopefully soon, the opposite will be true of the new outpost. Ooh, we are just about done. Here. What I will do is a few small wind just to keep the electrical components going. Always shut everything down. We also have a stone processor that I need to keep powered up as well. Beep, and yeah, these guys should be here by now. So, Mr. Plan. Loading up and heading up. Where's Silvershade? He get hung up on something? Must have. Nope. Yep, they got stuck. You ran straight into a giant rocky mountain thing. Can you even move? No, you cannot. Alright, Pingu can move. Beep, you're needed over here real quick. Give Silvershade some help. I guess when you're running around at Mach 3, sometimes you run into things. Alright, Silver, you need to go to Rhadenhal and beat... Oh, are you bossing me around? That's cute. They're like, come back, we're hungry. Nope, sorry. Alright, so we're generating more power here than we ever did back home in the first outpost. Alright, Mr. Pingu, we had need of 120 wheat, I believe it was. Wheat is not very efficient to transfer, so this will take a few trips, but that's okay. Who's attacking Beat? Ooh, he is really getting attacked. Beepers. Jeepers, jeepers, creepers, beepers. Don't let them do that to you. You're a real boy. Don't let the angry man harm you. Alright, checking back on the base. Alloy plates, leather, raw meat. Some of the stuff I might be stuck picking up manually. I could create storage for it, but that might just take more effort than it's worth. Any wheat straw I don't end up using, I'm just going to deconstruct the barrel and have it go poof. So I think it's time to dismantle the station house, which is a big move. We have some animal skins. Yep. The copper alloy plates might be worth salvaging, however. Oh, Jesus. What are you, Hannibal Lecter? I know I ordered her to incinerate limbs or whatever, but that got a little gruesome. Having stacks of body parts. Alright, Gecko, your job will be to construct... let's construct storage for the stuff down there. So we had meat, leather, skins, and copper alloys. All right. So this is building materials. And this way we'll be able to haul to it and clean up the base faster, in my opinion. All right, that's good. Alright, Beep's here. And Plan had a big ol' shipment for them. I wish there was more rhyme and reason to my storage boxes. I didn't organize them all that well. I mean, it happens. Alright, silver is due here soon. And here I'm going to need to make... Let's do storage for wheat straw. And we'll put it right next to the farms that need to be constructed. So we've got my steel refinery, and all the iron refineries are already built. It's very cool. So that's enough for one farm. So we'll really only need to make 2 trips for wheat straw. and we'll need to make a trip of 30 hemp. Maybe I'll just ask this person to leave. I'll have them guard the outpost rather than to be my little puppy dog. All right. Time for the big stuff. Time for really shutting this base down. Felt like so long ago that I was laying out these walls and desperately trying to build a little building to protect me from the fog. And now here I am, breaking it all down again. The fact that they're no longer hauling building materials means this is full. Yep. And so it is. All that's left is some random assortment of things that I can pick up. Alright, beep. Plan, you need to load in building materials. They filled up real quick. And Pingu, I have no idea what I want you to carry. Electrical components and steel. Load up on these beautiful electrical components. Love it. Alright, not too many trips left. Oh, I should have grabbed the wheat in hindsight. I like how for the ramps it's like, are you sure? Whereas ramps are kind of inconsequential in terms of defense. But for the walls, it's just like, alright, yeah, sure, you can dismantle. And here, as you can see, the fog are taking advantage of the fact that I have no walls, and that just means there'll be a lot of dead fog bodies around once I leave. Now, a few of the most important items I have not yet to make in the new base. If you're wondering what they are, they're obviously skeleton repair beds and regular beds. I don't have a barracks up yet. And that is particularly important because you can't really heal, or at least not very efficiently, without one. Or repair, for that matter. God, the base looks so naked this way. The outhouses obviously don't function as outhouses. Basically, idle. Okay, yeah, it's a little too weird to to look back at the base here and just have my main character like sitting on the can. It doesn't work for me. It's too weird. Alright, so we got some cactus. What we need to do is to have storage for this stuff. So food, or no, rather storage. Let's see. We will need storage for hashish next to hemp and hemp. Alright, that's next to the hemp processor. Sake still. I just forget, because they all look the same. I forget which one's which. So this will have to be storage rice weed. This is for rum, so this is cactus. Because I have some cactus. But because I'll check again. I'll double check to make sure I really can't make any. I can't grow cactus here. And then this process of elimination has to be wheat. All right. All right, now idle people will sit appropriately. Next up, fabric. Did I bring any fabric with me? I think all the fabric I have is in just random general storages. Yep, that's true. Now the problem is, if this is going to be the barracks, I do have a lot of crap kind of strewn about. Oh yeah, I have a lot of fabric storage. So this is the mess hall. Yeah, this ought to be the barracks. So let's try to lay this out in a way that makes sense. That isn't ugly, I should add. So I'm not, I could fit a lot more beds in here, but I don't want to crowd it. Because I feel like as soon as you crowd it, pathing becomes a nightmare. And some of these boxes are going to have to move. At least we can get started on this. Nah, that looks bad. Bad and sloppy. Let me fix this. I'll just pull the plug on those and lay these out a little bit better. If it is my forever home, I should put some care into it. So let's get that bolt box set up so we can free up some space. Plan, beep, all these guys are here. Good. Bunch of building materials. And electrical components. What I should have done is made like a little temporary storage shacks. That would have maybe been superior to the way I stored this stuff. Because right now I'm loading stuff in that's only going to become a problem. But, oh well. Well, guys, unfortunately, I did make a whole lot of progress with this base. It's starting to really fill out as a base. And pretty soon this little tower should look more like a city soon. But that's all the time I have. So if you have any feedback for me, drop me a line. And keep in mind, the poll for naming the base here, Phoenix's Falls base, is up. So if you'd like to go vote, it's Rhadamant.com or my Discord channel in the announcements section. And everyone is free to vote. And I included just about everyone's input on this. So yeah, there's a lot of choices. So choose carefully. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll have to catch you all later. Adios.